How's it going, YouTube? There's a whole bunch of reviews and stuff on oxyacetylene torch setups on here. I just wanted to do a quick unboxing, kind of from a very, a beginner point of view. I got a small garage. I make brass knuckles, wrench on my car quite a bit. I got an old 67 Cadillac that requires quite a bit of work, and eventually I want to get into when I get a little space, bring more vehicles in, older vehicles, work on those, and quite often you run into problems with exhaust bolts breaking off, a lot of rusted parts, things that require heat and cutting. I have a little cheap plasma cutter, but quite often it's hard to get into places with that. And so I've wanted an oxyacetylene torch setup for quite some time. And it was always something I've never dealt with. But the more I'm around people that truly dig into old cars, they use them quite often. They're very versatile, from its cutting out floor pans, heating up bolts, removing AN fittings that's been on for decades. They're very useful setup. But I have a very small shop area. It's in my garage, and I share space with the wife. So, space is very important to me. So of all the things I looked at, these Lincoln Portatorch kits seem to be the most economical and space saving, especially for what I do. I'm not going to be welding with it. I've got a MIG welder for that. It's doubtful I'll be doing much of anything other than heating and cutting. And so there was no reason for me to get huge tanks for that. So I really did a lot of research of the different options. And there's not a lot of information that really gives you, pros and cons, even if you read reviews. Like I went into this thing hoping to get a setup that had tanks that I can just take and exchange at the local air gas or welding supply with no problems. Because I wanted to own my own tanks. I didn't want to lease anything. And that's from the research I've done and the reviews I read, the Lincoln Portatorch was good for that. You can get cheaper sets. I think this one was $400 at Northern Tool. And even at Northern Tool on the shelf, they had a different brand. It was $200. Looked almost just like this, but I wanted to make sure I got good tanks and a good actual torch. And it's the reason I paid the extra $200. And I got it and went to get the tanks exchanged. And the acetylene tank was DOT, but the oxygen tank was not. And what that means is in the stamping on the tanks, it'll actually say DOT on it. And if it doesn't say DOT, they will not exchange the tanks for you. And the reason for that, and I had the guy explain it to me there, it has to do with, obviously, Department of Transportation. State troopers will pull over placard vehicles, and if they have tanks on the bed of the truck or in the bed of the truck that does not have a DOT stamp on it, they will fine them up to $10,000 per tank. Once again, just government stealing money. But it's, and so I was, like, all the research was for nothing. I spent the extra money for nothing. I still ended up with a tank that I could not exchange. And they had a tank there that was not DOT, and they can exchange it for me. But he said, we don't normally stock these. I just happen to have one. And so I asked him how much a DOT tank was so that I wouldn't be having a problem in the future. And he said $140. So I went ahead and paid another $140 to get this DOT tank. And I have a non-DOT tank over there that I just went ahead and he exchanged for me. So I've got 2 oxygen tanks now, but only one is DOT. And he said this is a problem that all these companies have, even Lincoln and all these Chinese-made bottles, that they don't get the DOT stamps. And so that's the main reason I wanted to make this video, is to let you guys know when you are looking at the Lincoln Electric Porta-Torch, and from the reviews, some kits have DOT stamp bottles. I don't know how that is. The acetylene bottle was DOT, but my kit did not. And I bought it from a store. It wasn't some, shipped through Amazon or something. I bought it from an actual Northern Tool. So something to think about if you're going to spend $400 for this Lincoln Electric setup, and you're still you're not guaranteed to get DOT bottles. And I checked the bottle after he told me, because I wanted to make sure they weren't trying to hustle me just to sell another bottle. But it was not, and so that was a problem. But I will say, once I got the gas and oxygen situation figured out, I fired this thing up and used it, heated and cut some metal with it. It is amazing. It works amazing for what I would want it to do. Is very powerful torch, cuts through metal like butter, and heats up metal to cherry red very fast. So I just wanted to make this video to let you guys know that despite your research, you're not guaranteed DOT tanks. There's a lot of talking just to get to that. But as a beginner, I felt like a lot of that stuff needed to be said, because I feel like you guys are doing the same thing. All right. Appreciate you watching.